put in your WhatsApp groups, share with as many people as you can. If you know any young people who want to be part and parcel of this conversation tonight, please do so. Please share with them, invite them so that they can be here. My brother Emmanuel Divine Nyakujika, thank you very much for being here. I see PM Baba Wangu Chakajaya One. How you doing? I hope you are good. Thank you very much for being here. Right, I see Citizen Chiwa Magadi. Right, Ngoma Simbarashi, how you doing? Murise Abu Ngoma Simbarashi, how you doing, my brother?
I'm fine. How are you, Uncle Jed? How is everything going from that side?
I am good. You know what, you guys, thank you very much, for putting this thing, together. I hope we are going to be having, a moment of learning from you guys.
Indeed, my brother. We are going to have an exciting day, and we are going to learn from each other. Since it's the Youth Day today, we are also commemorating this day by sharing our opinions and our perspective as youth, and we are trying to shape the narrative and to shape the discourse of our nation, where our country is coming from and where our nation is going. I think it will be going to be exciting and a very informative discussion here.
Thank you. Yes. I'm looking forward, to that as well. So I'm just waiting, for the other guys, to come through. So give it another 3 minutes. Wait for the other guys, to come through. But we're going to be starting at 10 past. I see Anna is here. So Anna, I'm extending, the invite for you to be a speaker. So if you can accept, that invite, then you join us right here as a speaker. So I'll send you, the invite. Just respond to that invite to be a speaker, and I'll bring you onto the platform. Right. So my brother Simba, if you see any of the guys who are supposed to be, speakers, just send them, the request, or let me ask people, our speakers, to make a request, and then we'll bring you. But if you see anyone who's supposed to be a speaker, just send them, an invite, and then we'll bring you guys onto the platform. We do not have much time. We do not have a lot of time, because we want to do this in the next, 1.5 hours. We want to keep it nice, short, and sweet. So we're going to be doing this in the next, 1.5 hours. So this is why we want to start, as soon as possible. We want to start in the next a minute or so. Right. So Anna, I've sent you the invite, or you can request, to be added as a speaker, and I'll gladly, do that. Right. So my brother Simba, if you are seeing any of the guys as well, just send them an invite, or just let me know, because I might not be in a position to be seeing everybody, but I'm hoping that everyone will be visible. If we are not following each other, ladies and gentlemen, or those, our speakers, if we are not following each other, let's try to follow each other. Just, inbox me, send me, a message, in the box, and then I'll make sure that I follow you. That way it will be easier for me to be in a position, to be seeing you, right. So yes, I see Namatai is here. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Right. So our time is now 10 past, the hour of 5 here in the UK, and it's 10 past the hour of 7 in Zimbabwe. So I want to begin this by before I pass it over to my brother Simba, because they are the ones, it is their show, so I want them, to be doing what, they do best. So once again, I want to welcome everyone to this Youth United for the Constitution space. And I want to thank you very much, those, who have elected to be here. Thank you very much. You're not here just as spectators, but if there are young people in this space here, I want you to know that you are a generation that is stepping into its responsibility. So this period where we are, it is an important period. It is a moment that will shape the Zimbabwe you will inherit and eventually pass on. When you speak about the aspect of constitutional amendments, these are not just technical footnotes, but We are dealing with things, that have to do with decisions about power, accountability, our rights, and the kind of future the young people will live, the longest with. So this is why this moment, is very crucial. This moment is very important, for our young people. This is your generational, covenant. And if you don't show up for it, then you are leaving the decision making in the hands of others and those who assume the responsibility of shaping a future for you guys. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be bringing in together, or we've brought in together, young people from different backgrounds, civic spaces, legal spaces, organizing spaces, and the diaspora. And they are here to help us understand what is changing, why it matters, and what is lawful. So as they engage in the constructive conversations that they are going to be making, I want you to know and understand this. This is not going to be a partisan conversation. It is a civic one, grounded in values, rights, and the belief that young people deserve a constitution that protects their dignity and expands their responsibility. So, my brother Simba, I'm passing it over to you, my brother. You can take over. You are the co-host. I'm here to facilitate, the editing and making sure that the space, does not drop. I understand you've got, your program. At the minute, we've got Anna Sunday on the platform. Namatai, I'm going to be extending the invite as well for you to be joining us. I'll be looking out for the rest of the team. Bring them onto the platform to be speakers as well. So over to you, my brother Simbarashid.
Thank you very much, Ango Jed. Greetings to everyone. Greetings to fellow compatriots. Greetings to the people of Zimbabwe. Greetings to the youth who have just joined us to this space. I extend my greetings to you all. As we are about to shape a discourse, as we are about to shape the future of our nation as young people. And what does it mean for us as young people? What does the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which we refer as the supreme document of this motherland, what does it mean to us? How do we interpret this supreme document, and how do we understand the Constitution of Zimbabwe, and how do we save our Constitution from being a supreme document and not being a backyard document for elites and a few, but to save the people of Zimbabwe, to save everyone else. So I'm going to invite to extend my invitation to one of the speakers who have just joined us. I've seen Anna Sunday is here present. I've seen Namatai. I can see you. I'm seeing the president of Zinaso, Libata Moskwa. You can please extend your invitation to have a mic. I think you can do that. Thank you very much, fellow compatriots. I hope all you are well. You can even show by some emoji so that we can start moving together as we proceed for this program. Thank you very much. Zimbabwe is at crossroads whereby we have seen for the past 2 years or so, we have seen a chance of the 2030 agenda, which have been chanted from the other side, from the ruling elites and from also young people who come from different political backgrounds. Some have been chanting for the 2030 agenda. And for us as young people, we are here because we now have what we call a constitutional crisis here in Zimbabwe, which some prescribe as a constitutional coup, because they are saying it's not aligning with what the supreme document says, and it's not aligning with what the people of Zimbabwe wants. So I'm going to start with you, my beautiful sister, Anna Sunday, who was also a former mayor from Epworth and is a passionate young leader, who's a youth activist. She's very passionate about the issues of governance. So I'm going to extend my question to her. Maybe she can give us a background and a view of what she understands by what is a constitution. What does she understand when she hears about the Constitution of Zimbabwe, and what comes into her mind when issues of the constitution of this motherland are being tabled before us and everyone else and the people of Zimbabwe. So my sister Anna Sande, you can open the floor and we can proceed with our program. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Brother Simbarashe, my good comrade. Good evening, everyone. Citizens of Zimbabwe who are very patriotic, who love their country, who stands for democracy. And thank you, Uncle Jed, for availing this platform for us as young people to come through and speak our mind. So this evening, I want to start by acknowledging every young person who is a citizen of Zimbabwe, who is in Zimbabwe and even in the diaspora. Today, being the National Youth Day, I think it's a very significant day for us as young people, where we start to acknowledge and recognize our importance. And this is not only coming from our mind, it's coming from the Constitution, which gives birth to all the rights. And in answering your question, Comrade Simbarashe, to me, the Constitution, even if I didn't know the law, even if I had no background about what the Constitution says, I want to believe that every society has some sort of governance systems. And these governance systems are given life by the rules. So there are certain regulations that people have to follow through. Had we not had these regulations and these rules, everyone could be doing whatever that they want. You and me could be killed right now and nobody gives a damn. Why? Because there are no guidelines. So the people of Zimbabwe, in their wisdom, have this beautiful document that I'm actually holding this evening, which is the Constitution of Zimbabwe. And the one that we are using was enacted in 2013. So this to me is a very, very precious document, because in it, my rights as a human being are guaranteed. The safety of myself and everything that I love, my family, my property, my country, my minerals, resources, my environment, and everything about us as human beings and the relationship that we have as a country with other states and nationalities, they are all enshrined in this Constitution. So it's not just a document, because even Section 2 of the Constitution speaks to the supremacy of the document, which means that apart from the Constitution, the laws here are very, sacrosanct, they are sacred, they are very, very important, like the highest level of importance, such that, even those who think that their party constitution matters, as long as we have the Constitution, it becomes, sort of regulated. So one thing I love about our Constitution right now is because it is a result of the expressions of the people of Zimbabwe, which through all the necessary processes have aired out their spirited aspirations for the Zimbabwe that they want. So everything that is contained in this Constitution is a reflection of what the people of Zimbabwe want, how they want to be governed, and what sort of a future that they look forward to. And it's unfortunate that at this moment, we are seeing an attempt of trying to infringe on those aspirations. But I think as young people, we should reflect and sit down on what this Constitution actually means. And to me, I think it's a very, very important document. And it deserves the respect and the honor that its intended purpose should be fulfilled without anyone interfering or attempting to tamper with its provisions for whatever reasons, without the involvement and the consultation of the people of Zimbabwe, which within the preamble is a reflection of a diverse community that, loves and respects each other. So to me, let me just settle by saying our Zimbabwean constitution means life and death to me as a young person, and I take it seriously. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my sister Anna Sande. You've just given us a big view in your understanding of the constitution and how you take it seriously and how it means a lot to you and how it means a lot to the people of Zimbabwe and to the young people as yourself. And thank you very much. Moving on, I will just go to you, my sister Namatai. This question is, why is this constitutional moment a defining moment for our generation as young people? Why is it a defining moment? Why is it a crucial moment of our lifetime as young people? Why now some young people are now eager to defend the constitution and to understand more about the constitution? Why is it a defining moment in our lifetime as a generation? So I will give it the mic to you, my sister Namandre Mkwekweze, so that you can give us and share your perspective. And why do you think it's a defining moment and a crucial moment for the young people to be engaged and to be informed about the constitution and where our country is coming from and where it is going in terms of this constitutional amendments?
Thank you so much, Simba. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. So thank you, Simba. Thank you so much, Jared. Thank you, Anna, for opening the ground. So the first thing that I wanted to say is that, when you look at the history of constitutionalism in Zimbabwe, from the Lancaster House constitution that we received as a result of the negotiations that happened as part of the independence, or rather the making or the birthing of Zimbabwe from Rhodesia, and the subsequent amendments that happened with Robert Mugabe until we got to 2013, in which 3.3 million Zimbabweans were consulted about the constitution, of which 94.4% voted yes. You actually can see that constitutionalism in Zimbabwe, the story of constitutionalism in Zimbabwe, is a story of immense struggle, immense suffering, but fundamentally it is a story of, an immense amount of hope and courage. So at any given point that a person like Robert Mugabe was amending the constitution, particularly for the purposes of consolidation of power, we understand fully well that there were a lot of things that happened for him to coerce citizens, for him to have his way. Things like abductions, things like torture, things like enforced disappearances, things like people getting bitten up. There were a lot of things that actually happened, and Zimbabweans were willing to pay the price. I think if we can reflect on something that is fundamentally true, is that at each moment, Zimbabweans were willing to put themselves in harm's way. From the referendum in the 2000s until you go to 2013, Zimbabweans were always willing to fight. They were always willing to push back. So as we think about the spirit of constitutionalism, we must always start from a place of understanding that there are people who have suffered for this 2013 constitution to actually be in existence. In 2023, this 2013 constitution turned 10 years, and there hasn't been, any implementation whatsoever. I mean, if you look at the amount of things that need to be implemented, there hasn't been any willpower. There hasn't been any political will to implement those things. if you look at the amazing Bill of Rights, Chapter 4, which talks about, first, second, and third generation rights, from the civil and political rights to the socioeconomic rights to environmental rights, there has been a very strong reluctance to actually implement the provisions of the Constitution. And yet already we've gone through Amendment 1, Amendment 2, and Amendment 3. Now, Mugabe himself did not amend the Constitution as much as this current president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has amended the Constitution. It's said that in his entire life, in his entire rule, in his entire presidency, Constitution under Mugabe was amended a total of 17 times. If you look at the amendments in Amendment number 2, it was more than 38 times. And in this particular amendment, we are still yet to count the consequential amendments that are as a result of the amendments that are being proposed. It's actually proving that Mnangagwa has amended the Constitution more times in the less than 10 years that he's been in power. So the question then comes, with all of these amendments that are being made, what does that mean to the life of a Zimbabwean, and particularly the 3.3 million people who were consulted and who voted with a 94.4% yes to the Constitution for it to be in existence? We've had so many amendments. Has this improved the lives of Zimbabweans, and particularly its young? Zimbabwe itself has a population of about 15 million, of which 69% are young people under the age of 35. The UNFPA says that 62% are under the age of 25. So we're a predominantly young population. It means that if we have an amendment of the Constitution this year in 2026, in 2046, which is 20 years from now, a person like me who is a Gen Z, who is 27, will most certainly be around 47. And what we understand is that if we look at the critical issues that young people are focusing on, and I'm rounding up now, young people at this particular moment, after all of these amendments and proposed amendments in the past 10 years, so in the past 18 years since 2013, young people's issues seem to be revolving around food, access to food. And mind you, there is a lot of urban hunger where people cannot afford 3 basic meals a day, because the economy is becoming tighter and harsher. There are issues around housing and shelter. The issues around access to land. Young people will find it much harder to own property, whereas our parents at age 23, at age 24, could own houses, not just a house, houses. They could get a mortgage. All of that has not been unveiled to our generation, and it will be much harder for us to own property unless it is transferred to us through inheritance. The next thing is healthcare. We have seen the dilapidated conditions of our hospitals, and particularly the dire state of our maternity wards, where women are losing their babies. You go there pregnant, either you're not coming back alive or you come back without a baby, or both mommy and baby don't come back home. And what we have to realize is this is a purely young people's issue, because we are the ones who are starting families right now. We are the ones who are using this public health infrastructure. And yet the Constitution is being amended without fixing the fundamental issues that are striking us at the core. There are issues of migration. And mind you, young Zimbabweans are willing to cross the Limpopo into South Africa, the crocodile-infested Limpopo into South Africa, where they don't want us, because the conditions in our country are unlivable. We ask ourselves, what is it that can prompt people to go through extreme lengths, to leave their own country, to go into foreign lands where they are not also wanted in those foreign lands? It is because the conditions in Zimbabwe are unlivable. We look at the state of education. We look at how so many young people have to do hot sitting. The collapse of our education infrastructure is an issue of dire concern. We haven't been building schools, and yet we've got mineral resources, we've got diamonds, we've got gold, we've got lithium, critical minerals that the whole world wants. And yet none of that, the proceeds, are not being invested into the socio-economic needs and conditions of the young. Access to water, access to electricity, issues around employment and livelihoods, sanitation, roads, service delivery, emergency infrastructure, social protection, and civil protection. All of that is not there, and we've seen it so clearly now that we are having these floods. So a person who has failed dismally to deliver on these very basic and fundamental key things that are necessary for young people in Zimbabwe to live a dignified and decent life. Mind you, we don't want to drive a Raptor, we don't want to drive a Rolls-Royce. We just want to have the very basics, the very basic things that every citizen needs to live a dignified life. And a person, I won't even call them a leader, an individual who has failed to deliver on the fundamental promise of public goods, on the fundamental promise of dignity to their own citizens, wants a term extension. So I will end by saying that as every young person begins to really critically think about the third term, they must think about it in the context of what life will be like, what life has already been like, and what life will be like. The past tells us the truth. These individuals have been in government since 1980. And whatever they failed to do in the past 42, 43 years, they cannot do if we give them a term extension. We need new leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my sister Namatai, for such a wonderful presentation and engaging presentation. You've just highlighted this. You have highlighted the state of the dilapidated healthcare, the state of how our people are living, poor service deliveries, and you have also gave us a background view of how this constitution has been tampered with for the past 10 years and how it have ended up the people of Zimbabwe being abducted, some being tortured, some being killed, and they've given a thorough background on what you think as young people want and why do you think young people needs. Young people just need the basic service deliveries. They just need the basic. They don't want Raptors. They don't want luxurious cars. They just want the basics so that they can be able to access healthcare system. They can be able to access education, which have been a distant dream from everyone, to equal access higher and tertiary education, where we have seen young people in the ghettos from Bari cannot even go to school, but maybe he have managed to acquire all the requirements for him to proceed to higher and tertiary education. So I think the young people just need the basics. You've just highlighted to us what young people want and what the consequences of what comes with defending the constitution, the things like torture, abductions. You have just highlighted it earlier on, and I thank you very much for this informative presentation you've just, and the clear picture you've just painted to us in what young people must do. And for this, I'm going to go to Libert Hamauskwa. For the past days, you have seen your video which you have been circulating as the student leader and as the president of ZINASU. You have seen how you are embarking on a campaign of 90 days of resistance against the amendment bill. So what is the responsibility do young people carry in safeguarding our constitutional values? What do you think are the responsibility of young people? Not only young people, but constituents you should lead, which are also students. In line with my sister Namate, what she just highlighted in their own, she just highlighted what the young people just want, which are the basics. We just want to live a life which is a normal life. So from your own point of view, we have seen your video which have been circulating as the students. What do you think? What are your responsibilities as the students in safeguarding the constitutional values as you embark on your 90 days of resistance since the constitutional amendment bill number 9 have been gazetted in Parliament? So I'll give the floor to you, my brother. You can share with us what your thoughts and what your inputs in this discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sister Namatai.
Thank you very much, Comrade Simba. Can you confirm if I'm audible?
You are definitely audible enough, my dear brother. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. Recently we just launched our 90 days campaign against the amendment bill because we as the students believe that extending presidential tenure does not solve the problems that the students are facing both on and off campus. The shrinking academic space, the shrinking of our freedoms, both in campuses and off campuses, does not get solved by the extension of presidential tenure. We now graduate into an economy that doesn't offer jobs and that is not solved by extending a presidential tenure. So we as the students, we understand that this extension of presidential term is an extension to basically to all the problems that we have been facing as students. And we also understand that we are not just defending the present rights, but we're also defending our inheritance. We're defending our future, and we stand as students, we stand as the torch bearers of our country, and we therefore have a right to not only defend the current state, but to defend what we view as a democratic future in our country. So Comrade Simba, our position as the students is very clear, and it is strictly binded by the Constitution, especially Section 59, which allows us to also engage in and conduct civic education across all campuses. It also allows us to petition. It also allows us to participate and to demonstrate our rights of protesting as well. So we're basically just launching a 90 days of educating students on what it means to the students, what this bill means to the future of the students, what this bill means to everything that ZENASO represents. Because if you also want to understand one of our cardinal pillars, which as the 14th NEC also represents, is that we are going to be advocating for good governance and democracy, and that allows us to then participate in this and to defend our future. So thank you, Comrade Simba. That's what I have for now.
Thank you very much, Libert Hamauswa. You have just highlighted that they're embarking on a 90 days educating the students, educating the young people. Why it is important to educate on the students and young people towards the Amendment Bill number 9 in their position as the students and young people. We have just united this evening to ensure that they safeguard their future, they safeguard everything else which they need as young people, the basics which have just highlighted. I think they have just highlighted something which have been also been raised before by my sister Namatai. But as we see this constitution, the bill proposes to extend the presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years. And there are also implications which we are seeing. It allows the government to extend their mandate by 2 years without the fresh voter approval from the 2023 elections. And the danger which we young people are facing might be that the parliament could not literally extend its own life, risking never holding elections again. It can be an implication which we are seeing as a nation and which we are seeing as young people. So I will give back the mic to my sister Anna on the extension of the presidential term from 5 to 7 years, as it allows the government to extend its mandate without a fresh voter approval from 2023. I understand you have been elected, you have been a mayor, you have been elected as a mayor in 2023 elections, and as a young person who also young people then down there in Epworth also believed in your leadership and also believed in the mandate which you have set. So what's your view and what's your perspective and your opinion on this extension from 5 to 7 years, as it doesn't give a fresh voter approval, and this also allows parliaments to literally extend their own life, risking never holding elections again? What's your take, my sister Anna Sande?
Thank you, Comrade Simba. Actually, it starts with the idea. The idea amongst the sitting government that they can think or conspire or organize themselves in their small group to try and evade, or number one, to manipulate the will of the people, because the current establishment was as a result of the August 2023 election, in which many people participated to have their rights to express whom they want to represent them. And with the acknowledgement of the challenges that we faced during that process of, we can even trace back from the delimitation, the gerrymandering that happened, the voters that disappeared from the voters' roll, the violence and intimidation, the double candidates, the recalls. And if these guys were serious about pursuing the interests of the public, which are the people of Zimbabwe, I think their biggest mandate for this term would have been how best they can go back and revise what went wrong in the previous election, to ensure that, people don't disappear on the voters' roll, to ensure that ballot papers are available, to ensure that polling stations open at the time that they're supposed to open, to ensure that the Chapter 12 institutions, in particular the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, is independent, to ensure that there is zero electoral violence in the country. But instead, because of the reason that we know that they know and understand maybe better than us that we do not approve of their leadership, and we have demonstrated dissatisfaction with how they run our country, how they manage our resources, how they distribute our wealth amongst a select few, how they violate our rights. Our human rights are not guaranteed in this country. We have seen politicians, journalists, and everyone who is perceived to be an opponent being subjected to violence, lawfare, abductions, torture, and so forth. So to me, I think it's just as ridiculous as it comes, because why? Number one, the opinion is not coming from us. If they claim that the mandate that they have now came from us, it means that it is supposed to be us, the people of Zimbabwe, who are drivers of whatever changes that we want to see in our country, because we are a constitutional democracy. And in a constitutional democracy, number one, like we highlighted earlier on, the Constitution is supreme. And number two, the will of the majority is honored and respected. And people of Zimbabwe have absolute right to determine how they want to be governed, who they want to govern them. And the Constitution is very clear on term limits. Every public office holder, you're a parliamentarian, you are a councillor, you are a president, a cabinet minister. Our Constitution is very clear, that you must serve for 5 years. And in the event that you want to alter these provisions, I'm sure there are processes that are supposed to be done, which are also stipulated within the Constitution. And I think, to be point blank, there is nothing for us without us. If they think that they can amend the Constitution and award themselves more tenure in office, it has to come from us. And if it's not coming from us, I think what they are doing is misrepresentation, and it's a complete breach of the values and what our public officials are expected to do in terms of how they govern or how they represent the people that, gave them a mandate. So, in short, what we're saying is that the majority of the people of Zimbabwe, in their diverse groups, women, students, members of political parties, I do not agree that Mnangagwa can have 7 years in office, or any of the sitting MPs can have 7 years in office. And number two, we do not agree that